Howdy of you delicious people. You know what, it is weird going on and being involved in the modern pro wrestling landscape. To find out certain people would say that you have to be qualified to give your opinion, but then not realize that there is also a First Amendment. Doesn't that exist? I think it does. But also, we have people that say that you need to be just a fan and not a critic. And you know what? I look at a very specific pro wrestling company that has people go on and grab a microphone and talk about other wrestlers and other things of any nature. And people allow them to do that all the time. It's so weird. As well as also, I see a post show and a pre show done consistently in Pro Wrestling Company. And I see also that there's affiliate things that are tied to same pro wrestling company called YouTube channels, and they go on and they do all kinds of interviews and really just they have people come in and they talk about their past, present, or even future matches. And I just see so much stuff out there that is on some streaming platform somewhere that is to have people talk about some wrestling promotion. I can't narrow down exactly what that pro wrestling promotion is, but maybe I'll figure it out someday. But hey, just be a fan, right? Be so much of a loyal fan that you're willing to watch a 7 to 9 minute fireworks display instead of more wrestling, right? That's fine. You shouldn't be upset about that at all. You shouldn't also be going on to be upset that one of these matches were to be revealed because of a trademark to be filed by WWE. Or you should not go on and be upset that you already knew who the first and second entry of the Men's Royal Rumble match was either, right? Why do they even have PLEs? Why do they have them? Seems so hard to barely put enough effort into these things, and they have to have them on the weekend. Just another day of the week, right? Man. So let's talk about this thing. So first off, we have the women's Royal Rumble, and so the women's and men's Royal Rumble, there were two surprise entries of people we weren't expecting to be there. Wow. One person for the women and one person for the men. Wow. I was so non-blown away by either one of those entries, and I didn't know that they would possibly be a thing at all. If only I could just find my key right now, or keys right now, and not have known anything about anybody changing their name at all, to think that they would probably be dropping in at some point. Yeah. So let's go on. We go into the women's Royal Rumble match, and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are first and second entry. And we're thinking, okay, uh, like, there is no friends in the Royal Rumble match. There is no family in the Royal Rumble match. It's just whoever is going to win this thing. And we're kind of hoping that Bliss and Charlotte are just going to fight it out anyways. But instead, they give us something that is a lot more boring. And then we're like, okay, where's number 3? Where's number 3? So we end up getting none other than after that. We then have Kiana James, whoever this is. I'm sure it's probably just some person that I know very well, right? And was to just be like, wow, this Royal Rumble is just like a thing to see. So after that, we end up getting in Nia Jax, which I'm like, yeah, all right. So, uh, like it is honestly kind of nice that Nia Jax was entered in this Royal Rumble so early. And I was hoping that she was going to go on and be like the eliminating machine that we're known for her just being. But instead, it kind of feels that Jordan Grace probably eliminated more people than anybody else in this thing. Or maybe Lash Legend maybe eliminated more people. I don't really know. Like, I didn't really count. And they didn't have a tally either of who was eliminating the most. Because I guess they really didn't care. So, if anything, like, there were in this match, like, some standouts. There was, like, So Ruka, which never really cared to know anything about. But then the further and further I saw her in this match, I'm like, wow, like, she's actually showcased really well. And she has this really interesting finisher. She eventually ends up making it almost to the end. And I was like, wow, what a good showcasing of this person. But also, like, it was kind of one of those where it was like, okay, kind of pick her spots. So now some spotlight things that I have to kind of bring up here. I felt like Maxine Dupree had a problem even getting into the ring. Maybe it was the whole like her outfit, it was hard for her to slide into the ring. So my god dang Maxine. Uh like I want to really just go on and just be so nice to Maxine. But when seeing her around now so many other women wrestlers in a match like this, she stands out. But really, not in a good way. She really does not stand out in a good way. And so, if anything, why have Dupree in this match? It does not help her. It hinders her. It makes her look weak. Don't have her in this match. Don't have her in this match. So, we also had Natty, not Natalia. Oh my god. Like, I had gone on and seen some stuff about Natty when, like, she was kind of going on and doing some things outside WWE. And I was like, what is this? Like, this looks like Kurt Angle. Like, this looked so interesting. And this was actually, like, cool to have Natalia beat Natty in the ring. And I was like, I want more of this. Like, I wanted Natty to be, like, the person that was, like, a standout here. And I think we got some good moments, which could lead to something. But, like, that was kind of the one also just kind of disappointing thing to me is just how Natty was in this match. So we have Liv Morgan who goes into this match also after Natty, and Liv Morgan is to have been a girl that goes on and ends up getting tied into her faction because eventually, like, Perez ends up getting uh, to be added in before Morgan does. Then eventually they bring in Raquel after Liz, and we just consistently have Liz who has to scream to bash her way into every single freaking person, and it kind of gets annoying in this matchup. But it's possibly maybe interesting seeing what Liv does in this matchup to just be like, hey, like, where are they going with Liz here? Especially what happens with Liz and Raquel in this matchup. I thought that was like, ooh, like there could be some really good creative here. But if anything, I'm probably giving a certain pro wrestling company too much credit. So we have Chelsea Green coming to the Royal Rumble, and I was a little worried that Chelsea would have gotten eliminated like super quickly because I've seen her so many times get eliminated so quickly, and like that is just a horrible thing to see for how good she is. But Chelsea actually lasted a pretty good batch of time. And we also had the spot where Chelsea kind of like lands her feet onto Alba Fire and then gets back onto the ring. And then Chelsea like checks if Alba Fire is okay for how she fell on her. So we're getting to like the 20s here. We have Io Sky comes in, and I'm like, okay, what flashy thing is she really gonna go on and do? And Io Sky does go on and I believe eliminate Lash Legend, because Legend was, I think, to be a person that started to eliminate a number of girls, especially after Nia Jax was to go on and be eliminated. Like Lash Legend was to have gone on and been uh, the kind of the threat within the matchup. And so, and of course, and like I'm kind of giving away some of the matchup here. So my apologies if this is to not be vague enough for some people and it feels like I'm spoiling some of it. Uh, but yeah, Nia Jax gets eliminated by Alexa Bliss. And then furthermore, Alexa Bliss ends up getting also eliminated, which causes friction between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And so we have Asuka. Asuka comes in the match after Io Sky, and they start this whole thing of like Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, and they're spending time on them while all this other chaos is going on. And it's when watching this, like, are they going to go with a triple threat? Are they eventually going to go with a tag matchup? Also, are they splitting up the Kabuki Warriors? I'm a little concerned. Kairi Sane goes on and accidentally knocks into Asuka, and Asuka grabs Sane by right after they both get eliminated. And it's like, ooh, is it trouble in paradise? Are they finally breaking them up? Because if anything, what good are they anyways? Besides just to have another tag in the company, but like, if anything, they've kind of done everything they can with Sane and Asuka anyways. Like, it would be nice to kind of go on and try to see what they could do with these characters as them just fighting one another instead of being involved in the tag division right now. So Rhea Ripley comes in, and I was thinking that Rhea was gonna like be the powerhouse. Maybe more so than some other powerhouse. And Ripley comes in, and she doesn't really go out of her way to just eliminate a lot of people. Like, she just kind of comes in, and she's just another person in the match. And she, at some points, has to kind of help out, sometimes. And eventually she's just there just to eventually just get eliminated by her best friend, who, of course, is Raquel. So, spoilers, anybody, Rhea Ripley does not go on and win this match either. So, we have Bayley, Jacy Jane, Nikki Bella come in, Janela Jordan, which I'm like, okay, I've never seen this person before. But when Janela Jordan comes in, she's doing all of these very much acrobatics. And I'm like, wow, flashy character with a stupid jumpsuit, because everybody looks stupid because jumpsuits. And we also get a person of which that is to need to be revealed now, of who is to be the surprise entry that everybody was so waving their hands in the air about. So, if you guys don't want to know who the surprise entry of the Royal Rumble is, I will go on and wave my hand up in the air now, and you can mute this or walk away or drop a deuce or whatever, and then quickly come back if you are to still be here. So, Brie Bella is to be the surprise entry for the Women's Royal Rumble. They do the yes chant. She does the it kicks, because you can't say yes kicks for some goofy reason. And Brie Bella and Nikki Bella do the hugging, they do the L's, and they end up, the two of them combined, do this Hurricane Rana that kind of eliminates people, kind of over the ropes. So they did that. They were at least productive doing that. So now we go on, and we have the 30 entry in the Royal Rumble. I'm trying to think if there's any other person that was to go on and be significant that I probably should be talking about. Oh, I really hope that at some point they do go on and they do something more with Ivy Niles, because Ivy Niles looked great here, as well as also I think that she always looks great because she works ridiculously hard. As far as her workouts go, if you see Ivy Niles do her workouts with Sheamus, oh my god, like the burpees and all that kind of crazy stuff, that's insane. it was cool to see Candice LeRae here, and also Candice LeRae working with Nia Jax. I'll say that. If I haven't said already, like it was kind of cool. Jordan Grace was kind of eliminating a number of people, but I was like, I want to see her do more, but I didn't. She's on SmackDown or whatever now, and I'm like, huzzah! But like, I would have actually have liked any number of people to have gone on and win this Royal Rumble, and Jordan Grace would have been one of them. Uh, if anything, uh, it would have been nice if Jordan Grace would have won. Uh, Chelsea Green maybe could have won. Uh, kind of back and forth thing about Bailey. Uh, yeah, I think that's probably about it. As far as anybody that would just be like, okay, let's get somebody new in. Like, let's get somebody who hasn't had a shot um, at the title instead of like the same old kind of people that they keep circling back to. So the last three people in the match were Tiffany Stratton because she was number 30. It was Sol Ruka, who again, impressive performance here. And then Liv Morgan because she would go on to eliminate so many people in this matchup. So eventually we start to see these three people just kind of on the ropes. And I'm like, okay, like, so now we just have to go on and just do the John Cena and Jey Uso thing to end all these matches, and that's kind of just dumb at this point. And like, I kind of hate when they're kind of just having these people just kind of dangle over the ropes to just try to be doing that now. Uh, like what I just said, whereas like, okay, they're on the outside part of the ropes and they're just like fighting to just stick in there, and then somebody will just come in with a clothesline, or it's some goofy thing like that. So now I'm going to go on and reveal the winner of this match. So I'm going to wave my hand up and down and reveal who won. So if you don't want to hear, mute this, walk away, drop a deuce. So Liv Morgan ends up winning the matchup, which I was going to be like, no, just deserves. It makes sense. Like, for how she was to go on and have that John Cena spot and wowed everybody. Yeah, that immediately was cementing to me that she should win this Royal Rumble because of just how she came back. And really, I think there could be a good number of things, again, creatively to do with Liv, where they go on and they separate her from Judgment Day, or they go on and do any number of things. Like, I honestly don't think that Dominic and Liv need the Judgment Day anymore. I do not think they do. If anything, like, they're part of a faction that has so many people on it now that they can break away, and I don't think it exactly hurts the Judgment Day. Or if anything, the Judgment Day could maybe finally get new members to kind of rotate some folks in. But anyways, so all right. So now let's get into the Drew Sammy match. So when watching this matchup, I, in my mind, was to just be like, okay, Sammy, it feels like, is to have his kind of Kofi moment here and really have me assume that he would be best to win this title here, because if he doesn't, it really just destroys his career completely. And if anything, like, yeah, like, this does not do him any favors whatsoever. It doesn't do any, it doesn't help him at all. Like, yeah, like, so he needs to win this match. He needs to win it. It makes the most sense for him to win it. Just so that way we can have a very drastically different WrestleMania than we've had in I don't know how long, but also, like, it's kind of getting very annoying how we just have the same people who are going to be the same spots of cards all the goddamn time. And still in the men's Royal Rumble, there was no Aleister Black. There at least was freaking Rusev. Wow. But there was also a lot of men's wrestlers that I would have liked to have been in the men's Royal Rumble that weren't. Finn Balor wasn't in the men's Royal Rumble. Dominic Mysterio wasn't even in the men's Royal Rumble. There were so many people that I thought, like, you know what? I just thought this crazy idea. What if Dominic Mysterio goes in the men's Royal Rumble and he actually wins it? He basically is the belt collector right now, anyways. So, wouldn't it make all the sense in the world for Dominic Mysterio right now to also win the men's Royal Rumble and go on to go to Mania and try to go for the belt? But that's just me. That's just me thinking. Uh, in the men's Royal Rumble, they focus more so on the vision, and they just focus on just uh any big beefy character that would have the best threat of, like, oh yeah, like, uh we have this new star coming in from NXT, and he's gonna have to just be the workhorse, or maybe even a powerhouse. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, but let's get back to the Drew and Sammy matchup. So we have Drew that goes on and basically is ragging on Sammy, and Sammy goes on and gets his back hurt during this matchup. And I'm just like, man, this is just making Sammy look just so weak here. How is he ever going to recover? And so, further and further in this matchup, we have Drew that even goes on to do his finisher, but then just pauses to pin Sammy. And I'm just like, shouldn't that have been a mistake? Shouldn't that have been a thing that should have costed Drew? So now we get to a time where I have to wave my hand up and down to give you spoilers of matchup. So let's do that. Drew ends up winning the match. And I like Drew, don't get me wrong. But I felt that Sammy should have won this match. For how he is to go on and be so long to have not have had this this, of course, title or much of any titles. How Drew has gotten this title so often now, even though, yeah, it was during quarantine. I don't care. I think Sammy would have been a lot more interesting going into Mania, but maybe some people think otherwise. So that was to go on and just be very disappointing to me, of just like, why not give this good hand a title for once? But whatever. So that sucked. That was disappointing. The women's Royal Rumble, I thought the only disappointing thing was that there wasn't enough surprise entries. The match overall, besides some new flashy wrestlers that I'm not exactly aware of, nothing about the women's Royal Rumble was to go on and be anything different than stuff that I've uh not quite, or it was similar to stuff that I've kind of seen in the past. It's not fresh, it's not new. Kind of like so many problems with every card of recent PLEs. It's not fresh, it's not new. It's the same people over and over again, the same dog and pony show. Like, let's try to finally give me something that I could be like, wow, like these eyes haven't seen this. So, all right, let's get into the Styles Gunther matchup. So, in all honesty, I was hoping that at some point Styles would go on and do John Cena's submission move, the STFU, or the STF, but he doesn't. I'm like, wouldn't that have been just a nice thing if Styles did that? But instead, like, everybody's talking about the calf crusher. I'm like, yeah, like, definitely do the calf crusher, because that's like a really flashy submission move. So I thought that actually was like, okay, maybe that'll go on and the calf crusher will be the changing of the tide, whereas Gunther continues to just do the sleeper hold. So we go into this match, and this match actually was good. It probably wasn't as good as the Jey Uso Gunther match, but it probably, well, uh like I'll so that's kind of anyway. So immediately when I found out that this was a match where if AJ loses, he retires, I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, I thought we had some more time on the pine here. Like, I thought we had, like, why is he already going on and doing a retirement match? And CM Punk was to go on and do this interview where he talked about, man, like, I had gone on and I had fought Gunther and I was surviving, and like, it's hard to think that we just recently lost John Cena, and there's a possibility that we're going to lose AJ Styles in 2 weeks' time, and this and that. And so we go on into this matchup. So I would have liked to have had Gunther probably do a lot more. I think there is a lot more offense going on with AJ, which that's fine. Um, the 450 splash was cool because I think that was one thing where AJ didn't want to go on and do much of those. Um, or he didn't want to do it unless he landed on somebody. Like I don't know what exactly more I wanted from this, but ultimately I left with it just kind of just disappointed. More than likely, that's because of maybe the result of this matchup. But anyways, let's get into spoilers. So wave my hand up and down because it's spoiler time. So we have Gunther that goes into the sleeper hold, and AJ Styles has to pass out, and the hand drops, and I'm like, God, like, so we have to copy and paste straight up what John Cena had did, where he just like, yeah, where AJ has to pass out, and can't we just have one another just like pin clean? Why does it always have to just be now he has to submit people? Like, man, you would think that Gunther would just take that submission and just lock that mother in right out of the gate, and that's all he would just do. It's just like, no, I'm just gonna lock this back boy back in, and I'm just gonna smith the out of people because that's all Gunther has, it seems, at this point now. So AJ loses, and I'm like, no, like I thought he had more on his contract. Like, like it was cool that we had finally the Punk and Styles matchup, but it's like I think AJ still had a number of matches still to do that we could have gotten. But I think also when we see that AJ is retiring, a lot of people are just like, tiring, huh? People are already fantasy booking, people are already talking about other companies, so to speak. Everybody is like, I don't know. Like, let's give it a X number of year, this or that, and I don't know. So really, I would just say, like, I hope AJ enjoys his retirement, and the way that he just leaves, I was just so like, just like I just did not like this. Like I know that AJ was to go on and say that he didn't want to like drag this out. He didn't want to do a farewell tour and whatever. But like I just don't think also that there was a proper amount of time given to AJ. There wasn't. There really just wasn't. So, and then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. And I'm like, wow, okay. This sucks. Um, but I guess also, like, Roy's probably just left wanting more anyways. And that is what it is. So, AJ, I hope he has a great retirement, or if he doesn't stay retired, then that's great too. But either way, we're not going to be poking the bear like, hey man, one more match. Hey, there's that other company, right? No, like we're just going to be like, hey, good that you decided to go on and and decide to specifically do this here, um, and and right off in the sunset. So now on to the men's Royal Rumble. So Firstly, I'm going to reveal the special super secret entry of the men's Royal Rumble, but he wasn't in the Royal Rumble super early. But I'm going to reveal it anyways. So wave up and down, and then if you want to avoid the spoilers, just I'll wave again, and then we'll keep talking about the. So spoilers, everybody. The special appearance person in this men's Royal Rumble was none other than Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW. He comes in as Royce Keys, which a lot of people are kind of critiquing that name and thinking how stupid it is, or saying how great it is, or oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense, or making sense of the name or whatever. I wish that he would have kept the Powerhouse Hobbs name, but you know how WWE just likes to change things. And at least Powerhouse Hobbs's name is not like Wildcat or Bearcat or whatever the F that other name was with Keith Lee. So at least that's something, right? We'll just have to get used to the name. So Royce Keys, whatever. God, that was stupid. Like, because he comes in here and it's like, ooh yeah, the pop and the wow and then like we just quickly forget that he exists. Like, he's just another wrestler in the ring, and like he doesn't go on and has a good showing. He's just there. So that just kind of sucked. So let's go in and let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble. So instead of Braun Breaker to be the number one entry, because that was already leaked anyways, Braun Breaker came in at number 2 because that's a shit idea anyways. So, and Paul Heyman went out of his way to go into the face of Adam Pearce and say it's like, well, you put Braun Breaker as number 1, like, oh, I'm gonna make you hate that you went on and you made that decision. So, yeah, the Vision did such a just overwhelming showing on this Royal Rumble that what Paul Heyman was to go on and say actually mattered at all. It didn't come into a factor at all. So we start this matchup with Obafemi, and Obafemi does a really good outing here. He goes on and just keeps bumping off so many freaking people. Because, like, this guy's a new star, so at least they're willing to put some push to this guy, right? And he has an interesting enough kind of entrance to the ring. He kind of looks like the Michelin Man. No offense. Like, if anything, like, his body looks great. So, like, huge guy, intimidating presence. So Obafemi goes on. He, of course, eliminates Braun Breaker, because what happens is there ends up being this hooded figure that surprises Braun Breaker and does the curb stomp and then leaves. We have to assume that this mysterious figure is to probably go on and be none other than Seth Rollins. Because he wasn't in the Royal Rumble at all. So he had to have gone on and done something, right? I'm assuming that all of this is to build up to be, because I'm assuming Roman and Seth are probably going to get back together, right? And be the Shield or some other goofy faction. Because is Roman going to really go on and still be with some kind of whatever weird goofy bloodline. I have no idea. But anyways, so even though there was some kind of with Jay and Roman a little bit of bloodline, but then also Jay and Roman were kind of conflicting with one another. It's very weird. Kind of were they working together? Were they not working together? Anyways, so let's get further past that. So Obafemi comes in, and so does Solo, and I'm like, okay, freaking Godzilla versus King Kong here. This is gonna be a good matchup. And eventually we have Oba, Obafemi, that also deletes Solo. Also, he deletes him, sadly enough. So Ray comes in, and Ray gets a better kind of showcase here. Uh, even though he's freaking Rey Mysterio. I honestly think that his gear was very cheap. It just feels like they just slapped crap onto his pants. It looks awful. I don't know why that gear was just so bad. But it was. Rusev comes in. Rusev, yeah, I want to see Rusev Day, but let's forget all that nonsense. Because I hope Rusev does really well. I hope for the best for them. Because like I wanted actually the big beefy men like Sheamus and Rusev and any number of other people. But also, So Ruka, it seemed that she kind of reminded me of like Claudio in a way, or Claudio, Cesaro. For those of you who are just WWE fans, because of the way she was kind of doing that whole swinging attack thing, I was like, she could be the next Cesaro, female Cesaro. My bad. Anyways, so Rusev comes in, and then eventually Rusev goes out because Rusev. Uh, Matt Cardona comes in and faces off against Obafemi. I'm like, ooh, this match seems very interesting. And like, I really wanted a good showing for Matt Cardona here because immediately when Cardona was looking at Cody Rhodes's WWE belt, I'm like, yeah, like, it's Matt's time now. Matt came back. He's done everything other than get that freaking belt. So now, like, since he's not finished, he needs to go on and finish his story, I guess. He needs to be the next Cody Rhodes. But, like, I don't think that Matt is going to get factored in. I don't. He should, but he won't. I want him to be, but he won't. And that is disappointing. That is sad. Uh because there are so many people that I feel are to get their chance to come back to the company, and they're not good enough for some goofy reason uh to even be shown on a PLE, like a certain Aleister Black. But whatever, I guess. Selena Vega was actually showcased in the Rumble, and I didn't even mention her at all. So at least she was on the Rumble, right? So Matt gets dumped out by Omofemi. I'm like, oh, fuck. So we have Damian Priest come in, and Damian actually does a really impressive showcasing here. He's taken out Oba, and I'm like, man, I want to see this back. I want to see Femi, and I want to see Priest. I want to see them wrestle more. I hope that they end up getting something in the future, because I think the two of them would work good together. And then Javon Evans comes in with his goofy entrance, and he's newly acclimated to this company, and I'm like, good for him. I don't. I'm like, he's kind of flashy and flippy and whatever, and I'm just like, okay, you're just another one of those people, whatever. Uh, all right, whatever. I just don't care. Um, then they bring in Mr. Iguana, and I'm like, so we're now digging in for AAA people, and where are any of the TNA people? Because none of those people showed up. Not a single iota of one of them. But the AAA people showed up. Like, are we forgetting that TNA exists now? Like, we didn't have a single iota of TNA World Champion in your Rumble or TNA or women's and men's champ. None of that was in here. Uh, None of the TNA title holders, none of them were in here. None of even any of the yeah. Nobody, no stars from TNA were brought here. So is that basically telling me that TNA doesn't have any stars anymore because you took their talent pool? I like some people from TNA. I do. So Mr. Iguana comes in here and brings in, I guess, some comedy. I guess. I haven't really seen enough of Mr. Iguana to care. Um, and also, like, I only remember the time with Finn and Mr. Iguana to really just be like, okay, whatever. Um, so Mr. Iguana was in the match, and I was like, whatever. Dump him out as soon as you can. Trick Williams. Also, like, where is Joe Henry? I guess he's in NXT and whatever. So he's not on the main roster yet because his character is kind of dead, anyways. I hate to say it, but yeah, where is his character gonna go now? Um, I don't know. So after Mr. Iguana, we have Trick Williams, and I'm like, the person that I honestly didn't really care about coming to the main roster, and he's here. Um, because I don't know how Trick Williams is going to be unique enough. He's not. So I don't get how this guy is going to get even more popular in this company. Um, I'd like to, I'd love to be wrong about Trick. I would love to be wrong about this guy, but that's how I just feel about him. Um, so I hope for the best for him, but he gets dumped out like everyone else. So Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes in after Trick, and here's what we're all thinking. It's like, this guy has won back-to-back Royal Rumbles. Are they going to go on and give us the Cody Roman thing again? Is Cody going to have to win the Chamber if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble? So we have to see Cody just get some kind of championship consolation prize? Like, could he not go on and just have some grudge match between somebody else instead of being in the main event? Like, why is it that certain people have to always consistently be in the main event all the effing time and they can't change anything? Anyways, so spoilers, Cody doesn't win this match, so we end up getting a non-repeating wrestler win this match, thank God. So we end up getting El Grande Americano in this match. Nah, that sucks, right? El Grande Americano? Who cares about that guy? But we come to find out that we're getting more than one El Grande Americano. Wait, what's going on? What's going on here? We come to find out that both variations of El Grande Americano are in the ring fighting one another instead of working together. So it's like, wow, okay, this is cool. So, because Chad Cable has returned, so now Chad Gable is fighting with uh Ludwig or Ludwig or whatever. And I was like, okay, like this is stupid, but like let's just go with this. Maybe this will go on and reveal who both of these people are so we can finally just be done with this nonsense. Because why is this still going on? Why is it still happening? So, right after that, there is where we go on and get surprise entry. So, shortly after surprise entry, we then go on and get Austin Theory and Bronson Reed, and that's all of a sudden starting to become more scary as like, oh no, some Vision members are in the ring. Oh no. Like what's gonna happen? And we're also thinking that Brock Lesnar may have still a connection with the Vision, but no, he's just working on his own. He's suplexing anybody that he sees. He doesn't care who it is. It could be Logan Paul. He's Germaning him. Cody Rhodes grabbing the guy, Germaning him. Anybody he see, he just flinging them around. He doesn't care. Like just manhandling everybody. He doesn't care. So we end up getting Dragunov coming in, and when eventually we do get Brock Lesnar and Dragunov coming in, like I think a lot of people were immediately just being like, "Oh my god, should be the next matchup, Dragunov versus Brock." Oh, this is yeah, we should see more of this. And I'm like, I have seen so many times at this point where Brock Lesnar would have to take on these small guys. And you know what? If Brock is to go on and honestly have a matchup, shouldn't he go on and have it with a guy that's be equal to him as far as size goes? There are so many big, beefy men in WWE. Let's go on and have Brock go against those big, beefy men instead of smaller ones. No offense to Dragunov. Like, I honestly want, like, Brock going up against, like, Femi or maybe even Royce Key, surprise entry. That's what I was surprise entry. Uh, or like somebody other than just smaller guys. But anything. Uh, Laparca comes in. I'm like, yeah. Like they bring up Laparca in WCW. I'm like, well, yeah. Like I remember Laparca. He used to have that chair and used to do the guitar thing and used to do that waddle. This Laparca is different. He's AAA Laparca. He's a descendant Laparca. They end up bringing that all up. Like they're not going to pull the wool over your eyes and say it's the same guy. No. So Laparca comes in like, wow, this is actually nice to see Laparca in here. I would actually have liked to have seen Laparca a little bit more. But hey, cool that Laparca had this spot here. After that, we end up getting Dragon Lee. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like once we kind of start to get like Laparca and Dragon Lee and Dragunov and whatever, like this kind of got to a point where like in the 20s they really did not go on and bring in the best people in this match. They didn't. If anything, it was just like, wow, the later entries to this match effing suck. And like it kind of made the match just like worse off by bringing these people in so late. No offense to these exact people, but there was nothing wowing about these numbers. There really wasn't. You have LA Knight come back, and I'm like, ooh, LA Knight. LA Knight goes on and seems to have a pretty good showing here, goes on and helps out eliminate some people. And then we get Brock Lesnar, then we get The Miz. He comes into the matchup, realizes that he's going to make a mistake going into the match, so he leaves, and then comes in and just starts, like, just pounding away at people, and eventually he gets eliminated. And why? We have Ray Phoenix come in. Wow, I'm wowed. Ray Phoenix. He does freaking nothing. Jey Uso comes in to help Roman, and Roman comes in next. And Jey takes all the time in the world to do his entrance, so much so that by the time that Jey is done doing his entrance and doing everything else, then the next person is to come into the match. Jey is yet to throw one punch or do a lick of anything because of how long his entrance is and how long he's just milking this out till Roman comes in. And then Jey and Roman have their moments where Jey is spearing Roman, and then also they're working together. They're doing the 3D or the whatever, basically 3D thing that they do, but they're saying that it's something different. So after Roman comes in, we then have Jacob Fatu, which I was hoping that Fatu would kind of mix it up and kind of just clean house here. And I honestly thought that if anybody could probably win this match, I could maybe see Fatu. Just saying. Like, I think Fatu is to have a real interest in seeing him in a WrestleMania main event. Fair? Maybe not win the title, but be involved in the matchup. Fair? Yeah, I think that's fair. Because I just don't see him winning the title yet. I just don't see it. But yeah, but obviously he has a fan base behind him. So, yeah, it was good to see Fatu in here later on. We have Penta that comes in here, and he really just kind of just continues to just do the same thing with the whole turnbuckle thing, where he lifts his body up on the top turnbuckle, and eventually that costs him, because eventually the later that Penta is in there, we have him get freaking booted out because of him doing that turnbuckle thing. And I was like, dude, you're not winning anyways. You're not winning this matchup. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, Penta, but that just kind of sucked. So right after Penta, we have Orton come in, and I think there was a lot of people that were probably getting behind Orton, interestingly enough. They were singing his song. Orton was like, oh my God, you're singing my song. Isn't that great? And Orton was starting to like get some things going. He was RKOing people. Like it kind of felt like there was a possibility that Orton really could have gone on and gotten to like the finals here, and really could have maybe even had people believe that he could win this match and be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense that he wins this match. So good on Orton for giving us that thought, that possibility. But I just don't know if I would go on and I would give Orton that spot at this point. Like there's so many other people now. Yeah. So we have at number 30 we have Gunther, who had just already gone on and 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 done another match. I was almost going to say something further that probably spoiled that other match, but I realized that people may not want to get spoiled at this point. Um, so I don't think that there is anybody that really comes in and besides Obafemi, like really cleans house. Like I didn't see anybody that really impressed me in this Royal Rumble of the men's Royal Rumble whatsoever. Um, Besides anything that I probably said before. Like there are some flashy things maybe here and there, um, of flippy doodah and whatever stuff, but of high spots, not flippy doodahs, high spots, but like none of this match was anything that I hadn't felt like I've already kind of seen before, or even a less quality of kind of what I've seen before. So none of this mattered. So the last two, we go on and we have Gunther and we have Roman, who are the last two. And I'm like, okay, man, they have really built up Gunther very much so here as this guy who goes on and retires people and kills people and does all these things to people. So at this point, I'm thinking like if anybody should probably win this match, it should be Gunther. Cause this guy has so much momentum with him, it's bizarre. So I'm going to wave my hand up and down and give you spoilers. Roman ends up winning the men's Royal Rumble. And I'm to just be like, of course he does. Because he just needs to be in the biggest match of the biggest PLE. Because he had gone on and opened so many others. And he had gone on to be insignificant for so long. So now he has to go on, and now he has to win this Royal Rumble so that way he can go on and still be the top guy and then eventually probably win back some belts. Because what difference does it make what title he has? He's Roman Reigns at this point. But that's not good enough. So I'm curious if Roman will go out. Well, it depends on who has the belt by the time Mania is said and done with. Because is Punk going to go on and keep his title? Is Drew going to go on and keep his title? Who is Drew going to go on and fight next? And maybe Drew will not have the title till Mania. Honestly, I would be surprised if Drew has the title by Mania. Like, Punk, I could probably see having the title till Mania. But I don't know if Drew should have it by Mania. Plus, also, like, I think it would be interesting if Punk is to have the title till Mania and Roman chooses Punk to be the main event match of night 2 of WrestleMania. So we'll go on and we'll have Punk, who's in the main event of the second night. So that way we can finally say that Punk was on the main event of the last WrestleMania night. And so that way, for any time anyone is to go on and have the problem of like, well, hey, he never main evented the second night. Like, if they go on and they do that, then like no one will have that problem. And then CM Punk could say that he did have a WrestleMania main event in night 1 and in night 2, and finally carve that off his bucket list. But so now for just WWE, I have to say that I'm kind of just getting sick of the same people getting the same spots. I want to say that I want certain people to just start to get things now, instead of just the same people over and over. There needs to be a change going on. This is getting boring. It's getting old, and I hope that something happens to where things get better in a way of just changing it up a lot more. Like, because it's stupid. Like, their equivalent of change is just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just go on and have the same exact people on the card, but they'll just wrestle different people. That's not really change. That's not change. Like, you need to go on and have new people get new opportunities. Like, I think we go on, we have like Roman Reigns. He's going on and he's talking about how like WWE isn't really creating new stars anymore. And yeah, isn't that hilarious how they go on and they even have NXT, but they're still not creating new stars? And Roman is being truthful. He's being honest. They're going on and they're finding all these people from all these places that aren't really wrestling backgrounds, and they're turning these people into wrestlers. And then they're shocked when they don't really go anywhere with wrestling. But yeah, it's shocker there. But also, it's just kind of like there's a lot of people that kind of just come into this company and they're really not at all familiar with it whatsoever. But they just become a pro wrestler anyways. Like, they're not really a fan of it. Like, they just end up getting a tryout because they just have some buzz, or they're just a athlete, or they're just a this or that. Yeah, so people who are coming into this business aren't really a fan of it anymore, or even know it really exists. So yeah, it's just so weird. But if anything, also, I guess probably what WWE thinks is maybe that's better to not have people who are like diehard fans of it to become wrestlers. So what, that way there's more of a disconnect. I don't know. Yeah, so with that said, I just kind of leave this review like it is, and not pop off the fireworks, and just call this review what it is. It's just a thing where I just have my opinion and am to critique this product that I have no experience actually being involved in, because I've never been in a wrestling ring in my life. And I've gone on to lift heavy amounts of pounds in my life, of items, and of course, barbells and weightlifting and what have you. But like, that's nowhere any near the same as a wrestling ring. Because I was almost so tempted to just say, it's like, well, hey, I've lifted a 600-pound pool table multiple times in my life. I've gone on to deadlift 400 pounds, and I've done this and I've done that in my life. And so shouldn't that much more qualify me to talk about? Like, I was tempted to honestly go on when I came in here first and talk about that. But that is not the same as getting slammed in a ring and taking a submission or having to run the ropes or like going in, night out, whatever, and having to do this kind of thing for a living when you're to be basically paid next to nothing anyways to do it. And most of the time it's just basically because like, well, hey, you just need to get experience doing this so that way you can become better. So yeah, so I'll always be very honest about that. And say that because I made the whole thing about the whole like statement that certain people were who have gone on and said, like Moose and Triple H, about people talking about pro wrestling, and they probably have no reason to be. But I love the athleticism of this sport. I've watched so much of it now for such a long time. Like, I had watched it when it was WCW and Monday Night Nitro, or WCW Monday Night Nitro and WWE Raw. And yeah, there were times that I was not consistent from that first time of which of being interested in this stuff, that I didn't kind of go in and out. And there have been certain times where years would pass and I wouldn't watch some of it. But I've always tried to come back to it. So, with that said, um, yeah, hopefully I'll keep coming back to this, and hopefully I'll go on and I'll be more positive about uh, WWE's PLEs, because honestly, this one was very much kind of disappointing. And I'm like, man, I can't wait for the next PLE in another, what, X number of weeks or so, to eventually still probably get disappointed for where things are going. Because this one, I had to wait a really long time from space of PLE just to get this? Just to get this? Man, does that suck. So I guess it would probably be more worth it to watch Raw and SmackDowns and review those. But I would go on to hear so many people talk about the Raws and SmackDowns, and they do not have much of positivity to talk about them. And so I'm just like, so, man, if I would go on to take the time and do the Raws and SmackDowns and the PLEs, maybe I would just end up getting burnt out of wrestling altogether. And maybe I would just be like, yeah, so, because I watch the SmackDown stuff and the Raw stuff, so like I keep up, but um I don't watch like every single minute of it. I don't watch every single segment of it. I kind of cut corners, and I also just kind of key in on certain things, and I watch certain matches. Uh but I don't watch minute to minute of it all, cuz feasibly it's just like, again, I just want to just find the best stuff and watch that instead of just like, oh yeah, like let's watch this promo that opens the show for 30 minutes, like certain other things would go on and do at certain points, just to stretch things. And I don't think that there's enough wrestling. There really isn't. There really isn't. Like, it's getting really bad how there isn't enough wrestling. And then when we see the wrestlers, and it either looks like they're rusty, or it just looks like they're just kind of like they're just going through the motions, and it's not that like fluid anymore of them. Yeah, it's just like it's 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 frustrating. So is what it is. I'm gonna get out of here. And then other people are like, well, hey, just stop watching, just stop reviewing, stop talking about this. It's just like, I cannot like the product, but I could still just watch it. Because eventually I want it to get better. Like, I'm hoping my investment will be worth it. Um, it's like, even with I'm negative about the like it like this this PLE does have its moments though. Even though I went off just kind of disappointed on it, the PLE did have its moments where I was like, okay, like this is kind of cool. I can watch it. Like, there was never a time in this PLE where I completely wanted to just shut it off. So that's the bar now. Like, that's really where we've come to, is just like, do I want to shut this off or not? And I didn't. So that's where that is. So I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody, because I'm going to shut this off now. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.